Have you ever felt that certain people enter your life as if sent by something greater? Not by chance, but by an invisible force that seems to know your soul better than you do. Carl Jung called this synchronicity, those moments when the universe whispers instead of shouting. What if I told you that each encounter, especially those that deeply move you, carries a hidden message about who you are and who you are destined to become? Why do some connections leave us restless, as if a piece of the puzzle is missing, while others bring us an inexplicable peace, like a safe harbor in the midst of chaos? The truth is that relationships aren't just about the other person. They are mirrors. Mirrors that reflect parts of ourselves we haven't yet had the courage to face. What are your current relationships revealing about your inner world? Think about the last time someone stirred your deepest emotions. Could that person have been there to teach you something? Or to remind you of a lesson you haven't yet learned? The journey to discovering who is truly right for you begins with an even more crucial question. Are you ready to recognize yourself in the reflection these connections reveal? When the universe sends a sign. Some people arrive like lightning, illuminating everything for an instant and then vanishing, leaving marks that never fade. Others appear like lighthouses, guiding you through turbulent waters to a harbor you didn't even know existed. Carl Jung called these encounters synchronicities, events that transcend logic, where chance dissolves and meaning takes over. They are not coincidences, but encrypted messages from the universe, woven into the fabric of your destiny. What makes these connections so special? They don't follow predictable scripts. They may be a glance that cuts deep, a conversation that breaks down barriers, or even a conflict that forces you to grow. These moments carry a unique energetic signature, as if two souls, separated by time and space, finally recognized each other. Have you ever felt that? That silent certainty that the person at that exact moment was destined to cross your path? Synchronicity doesn't operate in the realm of accident, but of cosmic necessity. When you're ready for a lesson, a teacher appears. When you need healing, a healer arrives. The challenge is to decipher the message behind the encounter. Is it an invitation to free yourself, to love more, or simply to see your own greatness reflected in another? The universe whispers through people. It's up to you to learn its language. The soul's theater, where everyone is a reflection. Relationships work like a cosmic hall of mirrors. Every person you attract reveals hidden facets of your being. That controlling partner might be showing you your struggle to set boundaries. The friend who always disappears when you need them perhaps reflects your fear of asking for help. Nothing we experience with others is by chance. They are lessons dressed in interaction, opportunities to see what we still resist changing. Why do we suffer so much from certain dynamics? Because they poke wounds we'd rather ignore. A relationship that demands too much may be pointing to your chronic need for approval. A passion that drains you might reveal how you abandon yourself in order to be loved. The mirror doesn't lie. It simply reflects what already exists inside you, even if you insist on not seeing it. But here's the magic. When you recognize these patterns, the game changes. Instead of blaming the other, you begin to ask, what did this situation come to teach me about myself? This simple shift in perspective transforms victims into alchemists, capable of turning conflict into self-knowledge. People will continue to be mirrors. The difference is that now you'll know how to read the messages they carry. Awakening your true essence. The journey of individuation begins when you stop wearing social masks and find the courage to be whole. It's not about perfection, but about authenticity, embracing your light and shadows without asking the world's permission. How many times have you dimmed your light to fit into others' expectations? That's the first veil that must be torn down. Each step on this path reveals layers of conditioning. You discover that you are not the angry person, but someone who learned to defend themselves. You are not the eternal caregiver, but someone who confused love with sacrifice. This process hurts like being born again, but frees you like flying, for the first time. When you stop seeking external approval, something magical happens. Your relationships transform. People who used to drain your energy naturally fall away, while kindred souls appear like flowers after the storm. Becoming who you are is not selfish. It's the most generous gift you can offer the world. The secret language of soulmates. True connections don't announce themselves with fireworks, but with the stillness of a heart that finally finds rest. You notice it in the details, the ease of being yourself, the absence of mind games, the way time seems to expand when you're together. These are relationships that nourish instead of drain, where every unspoken word is understood. The most revealing sign? The peace that fills your being when you're with that person. Not the kind of passion that races your heart, but the deep calm of someone who feels at home. Disagreements arise, but they don't turn into battles. They become bridges to mutual understanding. You stop fighting for attention and simply receive what you deserve, naturally. These connections operate under a simple spiritual law. When you stop forcing, the universe delivers. The right person doesn't ask you to change your essence. They celebrate every authentic part of you that you dare to reveal. And in the silence between two aligned hearts, you finally understand. This is what it means to belong. The unconscious theater. We perform without knowing. Every relationship is a stage where we project hidden parts of ourselves. That criticism that irritates you so much in another person, it might be your own inner voice that you've silenced. Excessive admiration for someone often reflects your own potentials that you've not yet dared to express. Our most intense emotional reactions reveal more about ourselves than about those who trigger them. Repetitive patterns are encrypted messages from the soul. If you always attract emotionally unavailable people, your unconscious may be replaying an old fear of intimacy. Relationships that start intensely and quickly cool off, they may mirror your own cycle of connection and withdrawal. The pattern only breaks when you decode its hidden message. Freedom begins when you take on the role of director in this inner play. Instead of blaming the actors, the people in your life, examine the script you yourself have written. What story do your romantic choices tell about your deepest beliefs? The answer lies in the patterns we insist on repeating, hoping for different endings. The wisdom that precedes thought. There's a voice that speaks before words, that visceral feeling that appears like a lighthouse in the fog of doubt. While the rational mind weaves elaborate justifications. Maybe I'm overreacting. He might change. Intuition already knows the truth. How many times have you ignored that inner whisper, only to later discover it had been right all along? Rationalization is the art of disguising uncomfortable truths with convincing logic. We invent excuses for toxic behaviors, minimize red flags, and force connections that have already shown their expiration date. All because fear of loneliness, of change, of the unknown, speaks louder than the wisdom of the body and soul. When you begin to honor those intuitive signals, something reorganizes inside. Decisions that once seemed complex become clear, relationships that demanded excessive effort dissolve naturally. Intuition isn't magic. It's the language of your essence, which has always known the way back home. The trap of flaming hearts. Intense passion often disguises itself as love, that chemistry that burns fast and leaves only ashes behind. Relationships that begin in emotional whirlwinds, with jealousy disguised as devotion and control dressed as protection, are like fireworks. Spectacular, but fleeting. The real test doesn't lie in the heat of the beginning, but in the steadiness of the embrace when the flames subside. Authentic love doesn't need drama to prove itself. It reveals itself in shared silence, in respect that requires no explanations, in the freedom two hearts give each other to be whole. While intense relationships drain your energy, genuine connections recharge your soul. Have you noticed how some people leave you exhausted, while others renew you with just a glance? When the emotional dust settles, only the bare truth remains. Love that is worth it doesn't hurt, doesn't imprison, doesn't make you question your worth. It simply flows, like a river that has found its natural course. If you need to force, explain, or beg for attention, you may be mistaking intensity for depth, and oceans separate those two territories. The sacred ground where true love grows. Before seeking in another what you feel is missing in yourself, there is a solitary and necessary journey, digging deep until you find your own sources of self-love. No one can fill the voids you yourself have not been willing to face. Relationships are not shortcuts to inner healing. They are mirrors that show the work that still needs to be done. This process requires the courage to face your shadows without running. Every acknowledged wound, every broken pattern, every boundary set prepares the soil for healthier connections. When you stop seeking emotional rescue in others, you discover something revolutionary. You were whole from the very beginning. The paradox is beautiful. The less you need love, the more capable you become of receiving and offering it freely. Inner work transforms your energy, and like a tuned magnet, you begin to attract people who reflect this new frequency. The right person doesn't arrive when you're searching, but when you're ready. The silent recognition of kindred souls. The right person appears. They don't come with noise, but with the softness of a piece finally fitting into place. There is no need for proof or tests. The connection establishes itself like a river finding its natural bed. You notice it in the details, the comfort in shared silence, the absence of masks, the way time seems to stretch when you're together. This connection doesn't require you to shrink in order to fit into someone else's world. On the contrary, it inspires you to expand, to soar higher, while keeping your roots firm. Conflicts, when they arise, aren't power struggles, but opportunities to grow together. You stop wondering, do they love me? And simply know the true sign isn't in fleeting euphoria, but in lasting peace. Like coming home after a long journey, you take a deep breath and recognize, this is the connection your heart always knew existed. Not because it's perfect, but because it's true. And nothing is rarer or more precious than that. The journey that never ends. This is not a conclusion, but a new beginning. Every insight you had while reflecting on these words is already transforming the way you love and are loved. Relationships are not final destinations, but moving mirrors, always revealing new layers of your being to explore. True love begins as a seed of self-knowledge you plant today. You now carry an unfailing inner map, your peace as your compass, your intuition as your guide. When in doubt, return to what's essential. True connections uplift, not diminish. They liberate, not imprison. They heal, not harm. The universe conspires in favor of those who dare to be true to themselves first. May this journey continue beyond these words. Watch how your relationships transform when you stop seeking completeness in another and begin to celebrate the wholeness that already exists within you. The love you deserve doesn't demand sacrifice. It blossoms naturally when you become fertile ground to receive it. Life always reflects what you are, not what you wish for.